OMG.
Talk Part 3.
Oh yeah.
In the house.
So we just saw somebody get kicked out. Not necessarily get kicked out, just got turned away.
Absolutely.
And they were extremely mad. Extremely mad. He was talking about how nobody gets turned away from God.
Right, absolutely, yeah. God wouldn't do that.
And you know that's like a matter of like when you are found, you have like a clean slate.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you're born, you have a clean slate. Like every soul is basically, every soul starts at least at neutral
or like positive,
you're always invited in.
Yeah, right. And not only that, when we come into the world, we're already born in sin blood, but we also born in sin will at the same time.
Meaning you can do it.
Right.
That's what I think. You can choose it.
You still can make a choice. Yeah, basically, you still make a choice.
I don't prescribe to once you sin, you're a sinner. I don't believe in that. Personally, I don't believe in that at all. I believe in if you're sinning constantly, like if you sin today, you're a sinner today. If you wake up tomorrow and you decide, you know what, I'm gonna stop hurting people and I'm gonna do better in the world, then you're not gonna be a sinner anymore. Like it's like an adjective where you're physically, doing it over time.
The reason why God created the Ten Commandments is so that we can stop being enslaved to the sin. That's the purpose of it. The Ten Commandments, they don't save you from the law, but it just help you stop being a sin to your sinful nature.
In the original languages, that the word sin is also a suffix. I think it's only used in a suffix tense. I don't think there's a prefix. I don't think there's like anything like that. I think it's just all suffixes. Like anytime that a word is also a sin, at the end there's a suffix that directly means this kind of thing in sinful context. Kind of like how we have the deadly sins, where we have like lust, right? And a girl's like, oh, stop lusting me, but you ain't sinning because it's your wife or whatever, right? Or like, you're like, oh no, I was just loving you, I don't know, you mean, like that kind of stuff is like, we can use these Americanized words, like envy, for example. Like, you looking at a guy's car, you're like, damn, that's a good car, and they're like, stop envying. But then you're like, oh, I had no malicious plots at all, like, what are you talking about? I'm not even doing any sin. It's like, all the words of sin also mean malicious context, malicious kind of stuff. That, the word sin, just alone, is so misconstrued in today's like society that even like, in my opinion, the unholy groups of people, like the demons, the dark worshippers and stuff like that, they even trying to adopt the word sin at certain points where they're like, oh, you're sinning upon me by being holy. Like, no. You get a I think me and him are both low energy today too, so expect a more chill, more chill stream today.
And sin, the basic thing, all sin is separation from the presence of God. It's about being separation. So we have to learn how to be back there with presence of God, through our actions. And be responsible for our actions when we're being disobedient. That's what sin is. It's basically being disobedient or even being out of order. Because God is a God of order. And that's why he has jails and prisons on earth. Because sometimes by our free will choice, we get in trouble and we end up in prison.
And that can be drugs as well.
Yeah, drugs, licorice drugs.
Certain particles are going to formulate within the atmosphere, okay? Certain particles are going to formulate, they're going to make certain electromagnetic auras, and they have to be gathered up and destroyed. If you eat them, it can turn your body to be out of order, and then it's going to destroy order and cause chaos. And chaos to a war can be order to an enemy war. You could be giving power over yes, you can give power to the wrong Lord. The whole idea is the universe always existed. Okay, the universe always existed and God's aware of that. Right? Now, as far as I believe, personally, the way I read the Bible is the wise book. It's one of the wisest books that exists. So basically means there's infinite force, there's infinite beings, there's infinite space, there's infinite of the fifth dimension, there's infinite micro measurements, there's infinite smaller particles, and time goes infinitely backwards. Now, understanding that brings you to an awareness that maybe there isn't a being that always exists. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. It's like this thing where it's like, can you even speak to a being that always exists? Can you even know them? You know, like, can you speak to a microbacteria? You know what I mean? Can you speak to these beings that aren't in our physical equilibrium? You know what I mean? Like, can you even do it? Do they even know you exist? And then comes, the argument. There's an eternally existing God that has always existed, and he knows all.
And then you got the one that's opposite of God.
Christianity does not say that. That's why I follow Christianity, because they don't say that, because it means a lot to me that I don't care if it exists or doesn't exist. I just haven't perceived it. I have never witnessed it. I can't form the agnosticism to that point of understanding, because it's possible, right? I'm not that. I was born with nothing, and from nothing I came up and grown to where I am now, right? That's the only thing I can really understand. And well, in Christianity, it doesn't say God has everything, the universe is perfect. Christianity, it says there's enemies, you need to watch out for them. It's not only that they're enemies, it's also because God is always working instead of not working, right? So people that say, like, in Greek, there was no word for everything, right? And you know what's also kind of weird is they combine Greek, Hebrew, and English. Some of the words are exactly the same, like the word canon. So the people that are developing these languages are super wise, and we have like a massive partnership, a massive team partnership. That's kind of like what Christianity is. And speaking of team partnerships, I go to church now about every week, and I signed up for a missionary to come to me to go to church with me, right? Because I'm just looking for more team partnerships, right? I'm looking for people that want to do that kind of stuff. And, that's what Christianity really is, to me. So, here's the thing too, though, is we have enemies here. When I go to church and I do this kind of stuff, like, I feel like I'm shunned from groups that I used to be like I used to be in like a gamer group, and we pretty much banned religion. Like, nobody's allowed to talk about a religion. Everybody's gonna fight if we don't ban it. Like, we're banning it in the end, no matter what, right? Everybody that's followed my channel for a long time, we banned religion from chat. We pretty much banned religion from voice chat. And no, we didn't necessarily ban it. Like, if you wanted to go talk about it, you could go to a different channel and you could do that kind of stuff. And if you want to do that in private messages, that's fine. But if you do it in a public chat, then it's not fine, because it's going to lead to arguments. Somebody's going to read your thing and not believe in it, and then we're gonna have Discord instead of Concord, right? It's like we don't want that. So there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, and that's my take on it. Like when it comes to religion, even spiritual, it is basically two different categories. If you're spiritual, then you will try to have a friendship with God and have a personal relationship with God, because He's a spiritual being, and also the devil now. He's also a spiritual being. But the difference about the two of them, one is trying to rule you by religion and to separate you from being in God's presence, which is basically the command of man. But that's still your free will choice. You can have a religion, but at the same time, you have to be spiritual. Why? Because God is a spiritual being, and the devil is a spiritual being that we cannot see, but they exist. And they operate from different realms. God operates from the holy realm. The devil operates from the spiritual realm, which is below God. God is in third heaven. That's the holy realm. And then you got us, which is in the physical realm. So that's what we deal with each and every day. We're in a battlefield, a spiritual battlefield, not a physical battlefield. And then you got wars. Yeah, those wars that we had in the past, that's flesh and blood war. But who was behind those wars? More than likely, are the enemy of God. Yeah, that's real talk. If you don't understand it, then next thing you know, and they're using money to do these wars. But for what? Who said that guy my enemy? Who's saying that? When God said we're supposed to love each other, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. What is my neighbor? All the people in the world that's not related to my bloodline. That's to me. That's what my neighbor is. My brother right here. He is my neighbor. So I gotta love him. I gotta love myself. Now I'm going back to the two greatest commandments. God said, love him with all your spirit, your mind, your soul, your heart, and love yourself as your neighbor. That's the two greatest commandments. So now, Jesus reduced that to two greatest commandments, because the Israelites had hard time doing all 10 of them. So now, if you believe in the two greatest commandments, guess what? You have fulfilled all 10 commandments. Plain and simple. Being spiritual, not religious. That's real talk.
I'll tell you, as far as the enemy goes, one thing I learned from the book, The Bloodlines of the Illuminati from the CIA, is I took home the word Hegelian really hard. I took that word and I memorized it, and I placed it all over my past. I put it all over my memories. Hegelian means basically to mind wash your enemy. Almost any way. Like you just use anything. You just say anything, you do anything. You start with saying anything, and then you start forcing anything. In order to get in your way. And it just whatever it is, doesn't matter. Okay? This is something that I tried to stay away from it when I was younger, because I thought manipulating, I was like, oh, I don't want to be a manipulator. That's weird. But then, when you get into like spiritual war, you pretty much have to adopt Hegelian. You can't survive without it. It's like your body, it'll tear apart your energy body. You'll literally just be this energy-less vampire thrall drone that they're trying to make you into. And a lot of you are. A lot of people that are going to work right now, that are at work, you're just an energy-less drone. You hate your life. You hate going to work. COVID. You don't like being there. And you know what? You are in this battle. Because guess what? You're exactly what they want you to be already. You're exactly what the darkness demons want you to be.
Make it make sense.
So, what I'm trying to say is, when you get to a point where you're at a point where you're not, you're the thing that you want, you're happy with, you're enlightened, you have good inspiration, good vibration. There's a thing that I practice called you can't lie. Meaning, you can't lie to God. It's impossible. Like, you can try to lie to God. That's possible. trying to lie to God is bad. But if you just speak the truth, no matter if it's a lie or not, it's still the truth. Right? If you speak the truth, you at least try to tell the truth. It's a truth vibration. Even if it's wrong. Alright? So what I'm trying to tell you is Hegelian can be a lie. You can lie to the enemies in truth. You can lie to them in truth ways that are manipulative against the enemy for holy reasons. And that's Hegelian. Holy Hegelian, boys. Holy Hegelian. You know, like that. I'm going to put a thing right here that says Holy Hegelian on the screen. Because that right there is honestly what a lot of us need to start practicing. Because this week I started practicing some stronger Holy Hegelian. I started putting out even like harder forces of Holy Hegelian out. Because I'm sick. It's been 8 years. 8 years I've been in a spiritual warfare against darkness.
It's a long time.
And it's every day, all day. It's like I don't remember a minute of not defending my vibrations. Like I defend my outer body soul, basically. Like I defend vectors outside my body, and I go and I move them around, and I'm warring them because they try and move little parts of me that are outside my body, like in the 5th dimension, that are going to target me, and I have to move it back. I can't remember a minute of being awake where I didn't have to do that. I tried yesterday to remember 1 minute. I couldn't remember 1 minute of just peace and solitude. The longest, like maybe about 10 years ago was the last time I remember having peace and solitude. And that's, you know, that's hard. That's hard, yeah. But Holy Hegelian tactics are how you can get it back. That's what I think. That's my strategy. I'll let you know more.
Yep, into our next chapter. Real talk.